Watch what you bet here, Teddy, right here on That Betting Show. How about this when the reeling Mets face the first-place Braves who got beat yesterday in the Windy City? Now you come to the Mets. It's going to be hot. And as we like to say in baseball, you're only as good as your next day's momentum with your starting pitcher. Take a look at this one. The Mets favored by about minus 140 total of 7.5. The reason why we brought this game up here, Teddy, is because I want to get your opinion on this one. We've seen the way the Mets have lost. Theoretically, you have leads. You're supposed to hold on. You could be coming in on a 5-game winning streak, but you're devastated after 5 losses. Now you come home. Is there extra value on the opposing team with shaking confidence on the Mets? Or you just say, you know what? DeGrom's on the mound. I'll let it sit there.
It's not like Soroka can't pitch. When you're laying a price with the Mets in this ballgame, you're laying a price saying, boy, I hope maybe we can get a couple out of the bullpen, or maybe DeGrom can go all the way. Because that's the way it is for the Mets when you're talking about each of the last 5 ball games blowing multi-run leads. The first time any team has lost 5 straight games in which they led by at least 2 runs since 2011, when the Mets did it in April of that year. Atlanta's in a different category than the Mets. The Mets are falling apart, and the Braves are World Series contender. Dallas Keuchel, even after they lost their finale in Chicago to split the series with the Cubs. Quote, "It's a complete team, Keuchel. I know a thing or two about complete teams. This group really excites me day in and day out." DeGrom has owned Atlanta. He's owned everybody. A $188 career ERA for DeGrom in 19 career starts against the Braves. But can I lay a price with the Mets right now? Only if I'm betting them on the 5-inning line, not if I'm taking them for the first full game. And frankly, given the psychological state of the Mets right now, I don't even want them on the 5-inning line today.
Yeah, and it looks like probably Diaz won't be available either, so it makes that bullpen even shorter. So you are banking on at least 7 innings out of DeGrom, who pitched well, Teddy, last time out against the Braves. We'll see what happens. NL Central battle tonight in Cincinnati. Reds looking at a plus 110 ticket, and this one a total of 9. The Cubs are 44-37 on the season. The Reds 36-42. Scooter Jeanette back in the lineup estimated today. Hamels versus Gray.
Yeah, the Reds lineup got going against Milwaukee. Scored 28 runs during a 4-game set, and then against the Angels, back-to-back games in which all they had was a solo home run. This little quote, this little stretch here really tests your resilience to bounce back. We were playing so well, now we've lost a few. It's a great challenge. Teams that have good seasons find a way to bounce back. It's going to be fun to see how we react on Friday. This is a big homestand for the Reds. It really is. 9 games over 10 days before the All-Star break. This is a team that's 6 games under 500. Their pitching's been great. Their lineup obviously hasn't. And, there's talk of them being sellers. There's talk of them being buyers. We'll see what happens over the next 10 days. That'll determine a lot about the future of this Reds team. Obviously, Sonny Gray has been dicey. He's not a great matchup against the Cubs lineup, in large part because he's been giving up dingers. 2 home runs allowed last time, 2 home runs allowed to start before that. And by the way, the last time he pitched against the Cubs back in May, he gave up 2 dingers in that ball game as well. Chicago with the positive momentum, rallying from 5 runs down yesterday to beat Atlanta. The Craig Kimbrell save to close out the game. Jason Hayward, who's been ice cold for years, all of a sudden is hot for Chicago. And Cole Hamels certainly has a strong track record against this current Reds lineup. Fun game, fascinating game, not one that I'm involved with from a wagering standpoint.
Yeah, a nice stop in the final out there by Rizzo at first base yesterday to keep that whole Kimbrel. Yes, get that good save first time out, and we'll keep it moving on. So we'll see what happens tonight. Texas and Tampa tangle in the Dome. We also saw a line drop in this game, Teddy. Rangers and the Rays. The Rays were favored by about minus 150, minus 155 at the open. Now down to around minus 130. Checking out SBRodds.com. A total of 8. The Rangers 45-36 on the season. Coming in, Joey Gallo back 2 more blasts yesterday. Coming back from the IL. We'll see if that offense can stay hot there in the Dome. Lynn versus Chirinos tonight.
Yeah, this is 2 teams heading in opposite direction right now. Tampa's really struggling. They finished their road trip 3-7. They're 5-11 their last 16. They're coming home off a rain delay and then an 18-inning marathon that lasted, close to 6 hours against the Twins yesterday. And yeah, they won the game. But in winning that game, their bullpen threw 16 scoreless innings. 16 yesterday. which leaves the bullpen probably a little bit short today. And Chirinos, last 6 outings have all been starts. He's given up 3 earned runs or fewer in 5 of them. But we're not talking about a guy that's going to go into the 8th or 9th inning. And it's a Rangers team. Look, you can make a case that Texas is the biggest surprise in MLB this season. The good teams are supposed to be good. The bad teams are supposed to be bad. And here's a Rangers team that's supposed to be bad. And guess what? They're good. And they're getting better. And they're winning games on the road right now. And Lance Lynn, the last time out, gave up 5 runs and 6 hits. Say, oh, he wasn't as good. No. He retired 19 of the last 21 hitters that he faced. He was 1 strike away from getting out of the first inning and ended up giving up 4. Manager Chris Woodward, quote, because you get down 4-0 like that, he's 1 strike away from getting out of the first with no runs. A lot of guys fold up at that point. They just kind of give in. He had 40-something pitching after 2, and somehow he ends up going 7 and gets the win. Only look at Texas for me in this one. That's a tale of 2 teams headed in opposite directions.